I am honored to be sitting here today next to me by Shabnan Mobares. She was born in Afghanistan, emigrated to Denmark at 8 years old because of the war, began playing football in the streets with the boys, and then started playing with her local Danish club, then was asked to play for the Afghanistan women's national team, which was then suspended a couple years ago due to things that she will explain a little bit later. She's also a new mom, 5-month-old child who's here with us today, and not only that, she's studying to become a doctor, so there's one legend for you. The next one is Louis Saha, probably needs no introduction, founder and CEO of Axis Stars, but also a former professional, played as a striker for teams pretty much everywhere, all your favorite teams that you can list: Newcastle, Fulham, Manchester United, Everton, Spurs, Lazio. He also represented France, obviously, playing in the Euros and World Cup. He won a gazillion things, including the Premier League with Manchester United. And he's now CEO of Axis Stars, which he's going to share with us a little bit later. Amazing, welcome. And Ivan Alonso, General Manager of Club Nacional de Fútbol. Hola, ¿qué tal? Welcome. How's our translation?
Sí, perfecto.
Okay, muy bien. Obviously born in Uruguay, only retired a year ago, and is now the General Manager of Club Nacional de Fútbol in Uruguay, that plays out of the, if you haven't been there, the stadium that was the very first match ever played for any World Cup ever. Played in Uruguay, Mexico, Argentina, Spain, basically ruled the Latin world. But let's get into it. I would really like to start by thanking the Johan Cruyff Institute for having this panel. It's an organization, if you don't know, that is committed to taking care of athletes in helping to educate them during their careers so that they can proactively translate, their on-the-field career into an after-football career. And it's tremendous that they've helped so many players throughout the years, and I really wish that I had known about them when I was playing. So let's start with Shabnam, living in Denmark now. Left Afghanistan when you were 8 years old. Can you explain to us a little bit about your path into football and studying?
Yeah, so my name is Shabnam Mobares, as you mentioned. I live in Denmark, and I started playing when I moved from Afghanistan because of the war to Denmark, and started eventually playing with the boys in my blog. And then slowly got a big love for the game. And I also noticed a lot of cultural barrier in the block that I lived at. I, as a girl, couldn't play football with the boys because it was a boys' sport, and then I should stop playing. And that motivated me even more, and I got so passionate about it. So I just continued playing football. And in 2014, I got selected to play for my country, which is a big honor for me. And that's how I actually started playing. And I studied while I was playing football. I was also studying. So that's how I started with the beautiful game.
Incredible. And then you were forced to stop playing for the Afghanistan national team. Tell us a little bit about that, and how important then, were the resources at your disposal and your education?
So they forced us to sign a contract that was not acceptable for any of us. So I refused to sign it. And they basically just kicked us out of the team. And so now I'm sitting here in a very dark period of time in my career, waiting to see what's going to happen. And meanwhile, I'm sitting here, I'm thinking about options of, I need my education because I know the women's game is not going to support me when I'm on the other side, when I fully retire. So I'm getting back to uni and eventually starting to get back to medical school and hopefully graduate as a good doctor and see if I can make a change through medical resources in Afghanistan.
Amazing, incredible. Louis, over to you. So obviously being a star of the game on the pitch, we were talking earlier about how much kind of random advice you received during your career and what that led to, which is the foundation of Axis Stars. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, basically I think, I don't know if everybody can hear me,
yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a journey when you start very young and you have to make a choice, basically to go to training at 9 or 10. The school starts at the same moment, so I had to take that decision. So lack of education at a young age, but you are closer to your dream. So I had a chance to have a long career, play in like good clubs, managed to see a lot of people, understand their stories, understand their struggle as well. All that educate me in some ways into my bubble. But yeah, toward the end, I had few injuries. Let's say that was a wake-up call. Allowed me to understand that I won't last forever. I felt like when I was young, I was invincible. You know, you run on the pitch, you feel blessed and all sorts. So what happened then is like I was just starting to realize that I had to collect all those information and to build something that was concrete enough to be around me when needed. It's like some information, some profile. So building that digital platform was my new dream. Basically, toward my end of career, I was starting to figure out how to do it. As I said, I collect a lot of information, like go and see players, coaches, talk to organization, and yes, not education in the way that I went to school, but it was very important for me to get a grasp into the field. Like listen to stories. It was very important, as we are accustomed to not show any weaknesses. We don't speak about our weaknesses. We are so damn, not say arrogant, but we have to show as a striker that I'm willing to score goals. I'm willing to show a good face every time to my manager and my teammates. So it was really difficult to get that on board. But I think that's drive me so consistently in trying to build this platform that help the players to be together, able to share their stories, able to connect and see different opportunities to get their high opens and understand the actual importance to get educated. And from that, I think it's vital, it's needed, because 50% of stars into our industry go bankrupt after 5 years. So it's a shocking numbers.
Shocking, yeah,
that
shocking.
wasn't going down.
Yeah. So what specifically, you were talking about the services, access stars, you were talking about legal advice, and when you're talking about education, it's a little bit broader definition of education. What specifically does it offer?
Yeah, it does offer a 360 platform that allowed you to have, like that vision during your career to get the profile that you need around you. So get the right people. It could be agent, could be lawyers, as you mentioned, but it could be nutritionist, performance that can help you in terms of your training. All that combined with very nice, attracting deals, because we want those players or those stars to come regularly into the platform. If you speak about finance every day, you may see them only 6 months or when things are a bit difficult and it may be too late. So we had that kind of like balance offers inside. So all those services combined with actual opportunities to have like media work and get some sponsorship opportunities. Yeah. So we're speaking with Christian about this and in his venture as well. So those situations like get them in that new bubble that make them like aware that it could be an entrepreneurship way for them. So it's very important that they get educated. As Shabnan has mentioned, you can go into education process very early because you know that you don't have maybe the same luxury as the men's right now. So we get lazy in the men sometimes when you get a career, sorry. So I think it's important to have a platform 24/7 in your hands, able to actually help you to grow.
Perfect. Christian, welcome.
Sorry for the delay.
No problem. If you don't know who Christian Kaname is, he's a board member of Sponsor Online, but in addition to being a formerly incredible, successful soccer player, he's won too many things again to mention, including, just a World Cup with the French national team. But he's also a strategic advisor at Olympiacos FC, an investor in sports-related technology companies, and he's also a member of Champions for Peace Club, which is a group of 54 famous elite athletes committed to serving peace in the world through sport. That's amazing, incredible. Can we ask a little bit about your experiences with sports and education? So when you were growing up, was there a time when you had to choose between education and sport?
Good afternoon. I grew up with through sport, and I'm very fortunate that my father was passionate through sport, and every time he was a teacher, and he tried to find time for the kids, at least to play something. And of course, we needed to create ourselves our games. We needed to create ourselves our games. So far, we need to fabric ourselves football ball, and it was at that time very how primitive, if I may say that. So, with the leaves of the nature, we tried to make some football, and whatever tools we found, we tried to imagine a piece of grass to play. But yes, I think that we are fortunate to be in that environment, to be creative, and so far to be also associated to a society, because I think that the values of sport or football is this connection with each other, with our teammates, with our families, friends, and of course through that we keep very beautiful memories.
Was there ever a time in your career where you had to stop going to school to focus only on football?
As I said, my father was a teacher, so all my family was in a kind of educational program. So also fortunate to be part of this environment,
Yeah.
these categories, and we needed to go to school. I have books, I have lessons to do, and before coming to Europe, I was already studying. There I learned how to speak Spanish, I learned how to speak English, and I come with this luggage to football after that, and I become a football player when I came to France to learn how to play football, because every kid think that touching ball is already, that you are already a footballer. No, I think that it's a commitment, it's a work. You need to sacrifice yourself every day to be better and better, and to be excellent, and to be part of the top elite players. And this is what I learned from France, to dedicate also your time for the job, to sleep well, to understand also our environment. This is what I learned professionally.
And do you think it was the influence of your parents being teachers, or your father being a teacher, that made you continue to study throughout your whole career? And are you thankful for that, or is there a certain time you think a player should start thinking about their post-career? Did you do it as a thought for, okay, after my career, I need to study now? Or was it just something that was natural because of your family?
I think it's part of my culture. When I talk to from my roots, my traditions, when we build a house, we all go together.
Yeah.
We don't leave our neighbor build his house alone.
Yeah.
No, we are trying to find everyone and to help. And so far, this kind of generosity is also in my luggage, and also the commitment to finish a goal, to finish or to achieve a goal. And this is what I learned, and through that, of course, we need to be very responsible quickly. Why I say that? Because we are numerous in my family. We are more than 18 kids at home, so we need to care each other, and of course to try to give the best model for the young one, and to behave well. If not, we will be punished. But for sure that in that, we used to say in my country that our life is like our house, because our house is round. And if you cut the circle, because the round is linked to each other, the people inside, the nature out and in, the way we build the house, the door is very short, that when you come in, you need to bend your head and to say hello. All this is meticulously built like this. We can have respect when we come to the house, and also around, because we cannot cut the link between the families.
So another type of education that you had as well.
Of course,
growing up.
yes.
Really interesting, really interesting. Great, and now on to Ivan Alonso. Can you tell me about your time growing up and how you balanced studying with playing, because you were saying earlier that there was a time when you did have to stop, but then you started again, and there was a moment in your life that happened. Can you tell us more about that?
Bueno, primero, buen mediodía para todos. Un placer compartir este escenario con ustedes. Yo creo que tenemos vidas, por más que hayamos nacido en continentes diferentes, vidas muy parecidas todos. Yo nací en Uruguay, Sudamérica, un continente creo latinoamericano, bastante diferente al contexto que viven los europeos. Nací y crecí en una familia humilde, en un barrio humilde y trabajador, donde soy un afortunado de haber tenido los padres que tuve, que me inculcaron valores y principios fundamentales para manejarme en este camino de la vida, donde la educación y el deporte fueron las dos herramientas o las pioneras y fundamentales para mi desarrollo, y considero hoy con 40 años que creo que son las dos herramientas más importantes para el desarrollo sostenible de los niños y los jóvenes, no solo en mi país, sino que en el mundo, la educación y el deporte. Mi papá jugó al fútbol durante muchos años, fue profesional en Uruguay, jugó en la selección uruguaya, jugó aquí en el Sevilla, en España, jugó en México, jugó en varios países. A los 25 años se le truncó su carrera por una lesión grave del tobillo. Y realmente siempre nos inculcó y nos direccionó, tanto a mí como a mi hermano, a que la educación era la herramienta fundamental y en los ratos libres el deporte utilizarlo para que no tuviéramos tiempo ocioso. Terminé el bachillerato de medicina con 17 años. Me tocó en los ratos libres no solo hacer deporte, sino que también ayudar a mi papá a trabajar. Y cuando terminé el bachillerato realmente le pedí a mis padres que quería dedicarme 2 años a lo que me generaba pasión, que era realmente el fútbol, el deporte. Tuve una experiencia mala a los 14 años. Un club en Uruguay me dijo de que yo no tenía condiciones para la práctica del fútbol y me dejaron en libertad de acción. Ahí tuve nuevamente el empujón de mis papás para decirme que debía continuar, que una persona no tenía la verdad absoluta y que yo tenía cualidades como para poder seguir adelante. Y que realmente no le tenía que demostrar nada a nadie, sino que demostrarme a mí mismo lo que uno puede ser capaz en la vida. A los 17 años ya jugaba en primera división profesional en Uruguay, increíblemente 3 años después que un club me había dicho que yo no tenía cualidades para poder jugar al fútbol. A los 19 años me venden a España, llego al Alavés y realmente me cambió la vida, porque yo no tenía una vida social muy amplia en Uruguay. Vivía, como les dije, en un barrio humilde, donde salir a un barrio que quedaba al lado y que tenía edificios, yo vivía en un barrio de casas bajitas, para mí era como ir a Disney, edificios. Imagínense cuando llegué aquí a Europa, ver torres de 40 pisos para mí era algo extraordinario, tenía miedo hasta que se cayeran, decía por momentos. Y realmente me cambió la vida. Pero aparte de eso, toqué a mi familia, pero también hay varios compañeros que fueron responsables de mi transformación, no solo a nivel profesional, sino también como ser humano. Y siempre cuento esta vivencia, que a los 19 años yo llegué a Vitoria a hospedarme en un hotel para hacer la presentación con el Deportivo Alavés. Y me estaba esperando un jugador argentino llamado Hermes Decio, el cual me dijo que tenía 19 años y no me podía quedar solo en el hotel, que me fuera a quedar en su casa. Yo no lo conocía absolutamente de nada. Me llevaba menos edad con sus hijos que con él. Él tenía hijos de 11, 12 años. Yo tenía 19, me llevaba apenas 7 años. Con él me llevaba 10. Y me hizo una serie de preguntas que realmente cambiaron mi vida. Una fue por qué creía de que con 19 años me había fichado el Alavés. Y otra que realmente fue la que cambió mi vida fue cuándo tenía pensado empezar a preparar mi retiro del fútbol. Y mi respuesta fue, Hermes, yo tengo 19, ojalá pueda jugar 20 años. De acá a 20 años veré qué es lo que hago. Y me dijo, Iván, ¿vos tenés la bola de cristal para saber cuándo se va a terminar esto? Al otro día fue que empecé a preparar mi retiro del fútbol con tan solo 19 años. Tuve la fortuna y la suerte, y soy un agradecido de que pude jugar 22 años al fútbol. Pero realmente es así. El deporte, o en este caso el fútbol para mí, puede ser para un rato, y le pasó a mi papá y quedó demostrado. Ahora, para mí la educación y la formación de una persona es para toda la vida.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting about the injury side of things. I mean, I know when I was playing, that was always the thing in the back of my head, that if I get injured tomorrow, what am I going to do? So that's really interesting that you mentioned that. Another thing I wanted to ask you about was your connection with the Johan Cruyff Institute now. So you see, as a manager, a difference between players that study or do something off the pitch and those that don't, that only play football now, as a manager of a club.
Sí, considero que el deporte, en este caso el fútbol, es una disciplina que requiere estado físico y también intelecto. Uno no juega al fútbol. También que nosotros hacemos prácticamente todo de manera innata, porque si tuviéramos que pensar lo que hacemos, muchas veces se nos pasaría el balón. Pero considero que hoy que el fútbol nos traslada o nos lleva a que sean atletas que realmente tengan cualidades para jugar al fútbol. Entiendo también que con el correr del tiempo y de los años, si creemos que a los 20, a los 35 años vamos a estar mejor físicamente que a los 20, es un grave error. Por naturaleza el cuerpo va envejeciendo y vamos a ir a menos. Ahora, si tenemos una capacidad intelectual superior a la media, eso va a hacer de que perduremos y podamos estirar nuestra carrera en el tiempo. ¿Por qué? Porque uno muchas veces con más edad se mueve más lento, se mueve menos, pero es capaz que a través de su intelecto poder aprovechar de mejor manera, moviéndote menos, el poder ejercer y ejecutar diferentes situaciones que se te presentan.
So your preference is to have players that are actually studying. Is that why you have a connection with the Johan Cruyff Institute, where you actually encourage your players to go and study?
Sí, aparte porque tengo una excelente relación con Jordi, el cual fui compañero en el Alavés durante unos cuantos años, y me parece extraordinario por lo que dije, porque creo que la formación es para toda la vida, y como bien decía Cristian, como bien decía Luis, muchos de nosotros nacemos en barrios humildes, en familias humildes y carenciadas, y hoy sobre todo la tendencia marca de que las familias impulsan a sus hijos a hacerse la salvación económica de la familia, y no realmente que se formen como individuos y que el deporte sea una herramienta de uso en el tiempo libre. Me parece extraordinario, y tenemos sí un acuerdo firmado con el Instituto Cruyff en el Club Nacional de Fútbol para que los chicos de juveniles nuestros, que tenemos en torno a 200 chicos, más el fútbol infantil, que son otros 200 chicos más, estamos en torno a 450 niños que van a tener formación académica en las distintas edades.
Fantastic. And interestingly enough, FIFPro, given the importance of education, there's a FIFPro report, a global employment report from 2016, that says that 27% of the professional players surveyed actually only achieved a high school education. It's 84% on the women's side, interestingly enough, when they did the survey the year after. Only 73% do not have a tertiary education. And when you compare with the general public, footballers are only at 13%, while the average rate of completing a high school education is 41, and it's 30% for female athletes. So given the importance that we all sort of feel about education, Christian, do you think that actually some form of education while you're playing should actually be mandatory?
I think it depends on where we are, because, for example, in France or here in Spain, they already connect school with sport. There is many academies where they combine both, and they can live and build educated like that. So Me, by myself, when I came, I was 17 in France. I was in FC Nantes, and they have their own academy. So I'll get through the academy, but also at school, I needed to finish my scholarship. So for me, it's a good way to prevent all the players after career. I think that is the way to learn by themselves
Yeah.
who they are in the industry, in football,
Yeah.
and so far to be who they are as a man first, and to be involved with the society, to be involved with what's happening in reality.
That's a really good point. I think a lot of times you see, with all the more commercial interest in football
True.
growing, the players are being treated less and less as humans. So, and I know, Louis, we talked earlier, and Shabnan, about the fact that a lot of players who only focus on football have a high risk of having an identity crisis when they do finish their career. Have you seen any examples of that, good and bad, where players have really struggled with not knowing what to do afterwards and not knowing who they are? For you, Louis.
Okay. Yes, we have like multiple examples. When I was playing, you could see that growing like a lot of like players who have like tremendous potential, get an injury, get a setback, whatever it is. They're not playing. They have to change club. It's very unsettling, insecure environment. So it does like strike them in a way when things are not there for them anymore. So the struggle can like go into your head. As I said before, you don't show weaknesses, so you can end up alone in your struggle. So this is like what you need to be educated from the start, getting like some kind of nice advisors who are here on that journey, the long journey where it may be like a very enjoyable one, but sometimes there is like very, very important step that you need to work out with the nice person around you. So yes, the stories are very damaging mentally, because you have like a bubble. That bubble is built in some ways that you have to make your own choices. You have to actually go out from that process that it has been built for you. To say, oh yes, I want to educate myself during my career is not super easy, because as we mentioned before, we say, oh, I don't want to end up in some people who's teaching me something.
Yeah.
It's like I'm kind of lazy a bit, being sitting here and all that. So the struggle of that process to fight against a very comfortable situation, as Shabnan said, it's like completely different with women football, as you mentioned. Your stats show that. They understand straight away. They go to 80% into that scholarship because they know it's not going to be sustainable. We have to actually go into that process. So there is like, I think, so many ways when you say about like being mandatory.
Yeah.
It has to be mandatory for not only women, but for the men as well, because that's where they get that tool to be a role model for our youngsters. Whatever they do, whatever the sport, if it's professional or not, we are representing some kind of elite in some way. So let's show that we can be educated, we can speak well, we can have that kind of figure and charisma. And right now, I don't think those guys are giving those sports person are given the tool for that. So it's really important that one of us or everyone together are doing this.
And as you mentioned, education can come in so many different forms. It doesn't have to be sitting in a classroom and learning and getting an MBA in sports. It can also be all different types of education. And sometimes athletes may shy away from that because they don't feel they're good at school, but education has a bigger, wider perspective. And you were also mentioning one person that you saw as a role model in that, who had her career taken away from her, and how did she deal with that?
Yeah, so I was on a trip with Equal Playing Field in Jordan, and I met this incredible female, Hajra Khan from Pakistan. She's the captain, and she was explaining her struggles with the mental illness while she was being this star everyone was looking up to. So she eventually broke through and talked about her mental illness. So I think it's very important to have role models to talk about these issues. And also, we shouldn't lose our identity playing a sport because at the end of the day, when we retire and we come home, who are we? That's very important. So we always work with that. And so Hadra Khan, she broke through, and she's now an ambassador for mental illness for athletes, which is amazing because we need more of her to speak and make this topic a more common topic to talk about, so that we can find solution and the best ones, so we prevent athletes from breaking down after they finish their amazing careers.
And potentially by expanding their identity during their career, they may not actually end up having those kinds of crises. One way to avoid that is Johan Cruyff Institute has a corporate social responsibility program called the Cruyff Athlete Fund, where they give scholarships actually to athletes during their career. It's one amazing way that to support athletes, which I think is amazing. We only have time for a final question for each of you, so it's going to be really short, to the point, but what would be your one key short message about education during your football career for those that are still playing? Start with you, Ivan.
No, para mí es eso, lo que dije anteriormente. Creo que el deporte es para un rato en la vida y no sabemos cuánto rato es. Creo que la educación y la formación académica, cultural, eso sí es para toda la vida. Y impulso a todas las instituciones, organizaciones, a que yo no creo tanto en la obligatoriedad de las cosas, sino que uno debe ser consciente y elegirlas. Pero para realmente generar un cambio muchas veces uno debe generar algo drástico. En mi país, yo justo tomando un poquito la pregunta que había anterior, para cualquier forma de vida y cualquier trabajo, a uno le piden una formación por lo menos básica a nivel académica. Y esto es un llamamiento a decir, ¿por qué no para el fútbol? Para poder firmar un contrato profesional. ¿Por qué no un individuo que quiera ser profesional de cualquier género, tanto masculino como femenino, se le pide una formación académica, sino imposibilitarlo de poder firmar un contrato profesional y seguir ligado al amateurismo de por vida? Ese es mi mensaje. Gracias.
Great. Gracias. Christian?
I will add, because he said, I think already learned about what sport is, and for sure that is a tool of education, inclusion, integration. This is our values. But I think that today there is a revolution, the new technology that can help to prevent what's happening, and for sure that we talk about tuitions. I think we can follow also in some application today, and we can deliver that, and they can read, lecture, and to be part of the outside and inside when they are in football environment.
Great. Thank you, Luis.
I'm going to jump on what Christian said, of course, because I'm fully dedicated to that mission where, yes, I'm combining all those information, all those ideas, all those people's stories, and all that struggle sometimes. All those information need to be in one place. So digital, that's what it brings, that kind of like connectivity, brings people together and put that strength together. So basically, it's just about career development, whatever is the first one, the second one, you have to develop yourself. You know, it's like, I'm a football player, it doesn't matter, yes, who you are. You developing a man, a father, or a woman, a mom. So this is what I'm saying, is like about education, is just, you have to communicate, you have to will to improve whatever you're doing. If you stand in just focusing in football for 15 years, you haven't developed correctly. I'm saying as a man, you know, you have to, yes, you have to go into the shop and look at prices and see how it is to negotiate, and like this, when the bubble explodes, you're aware of things, you know, you understand, and that's what I think that kind of application, that kind of digital can do. So
Perfect. Shabnam?
Yeah, I also think it's very important with the digital world, but I also think that you need to surround yourself with people who remind you who you are. That could be your family, for example, people who see you and not the player that you are. so they constantly remind you, because I think most time that we lose that ourselves a lot because we focus so much on the trophy or to get the best score or whatever it might be, that we don't look back and see who did I leave behind, like that little girl that I was when I was 8 years old. Is she still inside? And I need to wake her up because she needs to develop as well, and she needs to be with me on this journey. So I think just have people around you that reminds you of who you are.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much to the Johan Cruyff Institute. Thank you for all our amazing panelists. Thank you all for listening so enthusiastically, and have a great rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.